went on a group excursion today. We went to a lot of different places. We started out at San Genesio, which is also a medieval walled city. Apparently there are a lot of those in Europe. Freaking Europe. The first church that we went to today used to be a castle, so it was cool. There was an intense amount of artwork in this church. My favorite room was this crypt area downstairs. The entire thing was just frescoes, and they weren't necessarily the best paintings I've ever seen, but the experience of standing in that place and being able to see the brushstrokes and the raised paint against the wall, and just standing where that artist stood centuries and centuries and centuries ago was... there's not a word for that. It all comes back to the fact that Europe is so old, and I've been told this by lots of Americans who have come here, but like, you cannot fathom how old everything is, because we're not used to that kind of thing. Like, we saw 2 castles today, just like because we could, and there was another one alongside the road. Freaking Europe! We went to an abbey, which, in contrast to the first church, was very plain, because obviously the whole point of being a monk is to live a simple life and to not be distracted by, like, worldly pleasures. So to have their church decorated as immensely as the first one would just be completely the opposite of their views entirely. I didn't actually ask, but I feel like it would have been disrespectful to film the prayer that we got to see today. It was one of the most amazing parts of the day for me. I kind of had like a pretty intense spiritual experience, and even though I don't have footage, I just wanted to mention that that happened, and it was really, really cool. Then we went down to the crypts, which, hashtag fun facts with Filiberto, cryptic means hidden, so that's where that word comes from. We got to see the dining hall where the monks eat. The monk community is a lot smaller today than it was several hundred years ago, so the dining hall was pretty big, even though the community today is probably at most 10 or 12 people. And then, sadly, I also do not have footage of this because I just failed today. We had the most amazing lunch we've had so far at this place called De Grazie, I think? Le Grazie. Le Grazie. Phenomenal. We finished the day off by heading over to Tolentino to see the Basilica di San Nicola, you know, St. Nicholas. We spent the most time in the room that is above San Nicola's tomb, and this room was also entirely frescoes. Back in the day, only rich people could read, so in order to learn the stories of the Bible and the stories of the saints, there were what Filiberto refers to as the poor person's Bible. And when you go around the different layers of the paintings in a certain order, they tell a story depending on which tier you're on. The bottom row is a story of St. Nicola's life, and then above that is the Gospel of Jesus, the Immaculate Conception and his birth, and then all the way through to his death with the big, massive crucifixion fresco on one big side of the wall, which was placed in the room so that it's the first thing that you see when you walk in.